The social media giant Meta, which owns Facebook, Instagram, has officially launched its new app, Threads. The app will be linked to Instagram with widely...
Threads has arrived, and this is huge news for anyone involved in digital marketing, digital advertising, but specifically for people like most of my audience that are into Facebook and Instagram advertising, meta marketing. This is absolutely seismic in our industry. We have to talk about it. There's some really interesting things that we can see already. What does this mean for Facebook advertisers? What's the future going to look like? These are all the things we're going to discuss in this video. So there have been rumors for a while that Threads was going to become a thing, that Meta was creating an app that was going to compete with Twitter, that was going to be very, very similar to Twitter and try and take some of the market share and occupy that space within the overall social media landscape. Obviously, Twitter's struggled recently. There's been all sorts of changes and controversies and people leaving the platform and all that sort of stuff. So they've seen it as a good time to act and jump on that. And originally it was supposed to be called Barcelona. They changed the name to Threads, which I think is better. It shows they're really going after that Twitter market and potentially adding to this controversy that seems to be building between, or this animosity, I should say, that seems to be building between Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk, which is all very interesting. But what does Threads mean for digital marketers, meta advertisers, as a lot of the people that watch my content are? I think there's a few very interesting things that we can start to assess and discuss already. So I'm recording this video the day that Threads has gone live, 6th of July, but we can already see some really interesting stuff. So firstly, it was announced, I think after 5 hours of going live, that it already had over 10 million users. That's an enormous amount to gain that quickly. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the day, we're looking at 30 million users or something along those lines. So that growth is absolutely phenomenal. To put that in perspective, Twitter only has 450 million users total. And the reason, of course, why Threads is growing so fast is because they've tied it in with Instagram, which I think is a really smart move. So if you haven't already signed up, when you do go ahead and sign up to Threads, it just takes a few buttons. You basically just click yes, just copy over all the stuff from my Instagram profile, like, you know, what your name is on Instagram, what your bio is on Instagram, what your link is on Instagram, just gets popped all over. And then the really clever detail that they've added in is that you are asked whether you want to follow the same people on Threads as you follow on Instagram. Now, I think this is really smart because most people will do exactly what I did and they'll just click yes, and therefore not only will you have a bunch of people that you follow already, you won't need to go in and do it manually, which means when you're using it, you'll already have interesting stuff to see because people are posting. It also means that for those of us that are trying to build followings on Instagram or have followings, I've got, I don't know, 16, 17,000 people on Instagram, for example, not massive, but you know, decent little audience. I'm already generating, this is literally hours into this, not even a day as I'm recording this, that Threads has been live. I've already got 500 plus followers on there. No one's really engaged with a few things I've put out, but they're obviously just being ported over from Instagram. So from a content creator standpoint, that's great if you're already on Instagram following. And from a user standpoint, that's good as well, because you already know, okay, I already like these people on other platform. Why would I not follow them here? That's interesting. I'm more likely to therefore go ahead and use the platform. So the early indications are very good. Is it likely to drop off at some point? Well, the growth won't be as explosive. That would be unrealistic. But is it going to succeed? I think that it will. I think the tie to Instagram gives Threads such a competitive advantage. And in a space where I've talked quite a bit about, I don't really see there being new social media platforms coming up, because how could they compete? How could they get a foothold? This is how. This is what I sort of didn't think about and didn't expect, is that the tie into another social media platform is absolutely how. And I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, a good chunk of Instagram's 2 billion, by the way, monthly active users jump over, and you could be looking at a total user base that's similar to Twitter's really fast, within a few months maybe. So that's really exciting. So assuming that this does succeed and does become a significant part of the social media landscape and is something that us as digital marketers need to take seriously, what does it mean specifically for Facebook and Instagram advertisers? Well, firstly, I think we can basically guarantee that at some point, Threads will be a placement option within our Facebook ad campaigns. So just like when we used to run Facebook ad campaigns and we didn't used to put anything on Instagram, it came in initially as one placement option and then it was in as a platform with multiple placement options. I think the exact same thing will happen to Threads. So if our audience is spending more time in the Meta family of apps, which traditionally has been Facebook, Instagram, people spend time in WhatsApp, but you know, advertising there is obviously not something we've been able to take advantage of properly yet. When they're spending time also in Threads, that gives us more opportunity to reach reach more people, to reach the people that we want to reach more often, and that is likely to help us as advertisers. If the supply of ad impression goes up, that's good for us because we can reach more people. It's also good because it's likely to bring the cost down. Just as we've seen over the last year or so, we've seen dropping CPMs because Meta have been delivering 17% more ad impressions, and that's filtered through to the numbers. So this is all really exciting news for Facebook and Instagram advertisers. Now, many people who watch my videos won't have been advertising on Facebook in a time when Instagram was introduced like I was. It's a long time ago now. And I can tell you that when people first started advertising on Instagram, when it was first added, there was a lot of skepticism in the marketplace. A lot of advertisers didn't advertise on Instagram, they didn't trust it, and that meant that CPMs, the cost per 1,000 impressions on Instagram, was incredibly cheap. The same thing is likely to happen with Threads in the early days. So if you're looking to run ad campaigns and they make Threads a placement option, it'll be as simple as just clicking a button. I'm sure we'll be able to, format our ad creative to fit that platform better, but from the playing around I've done with Threads, you can upload videos and all sorts. So I think it'll be compatible with the ads that we run on Facebook and Instagram today, but it'll be as simple as clicking a button, and you might take advantage of some really, really cheap advertising there for a while before advertisers catch on. With Instagram, that took, 18 months, 2 years, by the way, like it takes a while. And that's a huge advantage for those Facebook and Instagram advertisers that are aware, that are thinking about this and jump on this opportunity. We can see that people have started doing that on the organic side of Threads. You can't advertise there yet. The organic side of Threads already. They're going, we know that a great time to build an audience is when a social media platform is new, so people are jumping in there, they're creating content and things like that. The same will happen to advertising later down the line. I also think that with Threads, we need to reassess the social media platform landscape. I do at this point expect it to beat Twitter long term, and I doubt two apps that are quite similar, if you take a look at Threads and play with it, you see it's very similar to Twitter at the moment, will be able to coexist for an extended period of time. I do think Elon Musk is a better entrepreneur than Mark Zuckerberg, but the competitive advantage that link to Instagram gives is so enormous. Would they be able to overcome that? I doubt it. So that's what I think will likely happen over the future. Maybe they'll coexist, maybe they won't. But even if it does even if Twitter does continue to be a thing, it's still far smaller than some of the other social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram, and always has been. I think it's very likely that TikTok is going to be banned. We've seen governments in Western countries taking steps to ban it on government employee devices, and even certain states in the US have talked about banning outright TikTok, and I think that's likely to not be a big presence within the social media landscape as it is now in who knows when, let's say over the next 3 years. So that really leaves the Meta apps and then the Google-owned apps, things like YouTube. And they are going to occupy so much of the social media time, attention, obviously advertising money, which they already do. If you look at a graph of total online advertising spend, you see that the vast majority is spent on Google and their apps, and then Meta and their apps, right? So it really is becoming a sort of a two powerhouse industry. So for us as people who want to advertise products or services for businesses, for clients potentially, those are the two places really I think you should be paying attention to. You probably know me as a Facebook ads expert. I've been creating Facebook advertising content for a long time. I actually started on Google ads before I started with Facebook ads. That just sort of became the thing I became known for. But we offer Google ads as a service as well as Facebook ads. I've actually got a Google ads channel. So if you want to know how to create Google ads and run them and get the best results, just like I hopefully teach you to do on this Facebook ads channel, I'll include a link in the video description. You can go ahead and check that out, or just search in YouTube for Ben Heath Google ads and you'll find it there. And I think that for my agency and the focus of my business going forward, and some of you might be in the same position, whether you're running ads for your own business or for clients, it's like, right, we're going to get really, really good at the Meta advertising side of things, which encompasses 2 apps right now, potentially more in the future, and the Google advertising side of things, which is obviously Google search plus YouTube and all that sort of things. And with that, we are going to be able to reach people, the potential customers for our clients, our own business, etc., where they're spending by far the most time online. Just bringing it back to Threads, so I want to talk about the larger picture, but we do need to bring it back. One of the interesting points to note at the moment is it has not been launched in the EU yet. Apparently there are some privacy issues, potentially with the link between Instagram and Threads, that was causing difficulties getting it passing, allowed to be put on the App Store and things like that. Without overcoming that hurdle, that might be a real potential sticking point for Threads in the future. If they can't ever get it going in the EU, that could be a real potential issue. There's a lot of people, lucrative markets and things like that. Interestingly, not that many English-speaking countries, obviously with the UK being out. So in terms of what could be like a global trend of what people do and don't use, the US always leads in this stuff, and then other countries follow, and often a lot of this stuff is based around the English language, whether things take off or not. It would certainly not be ideal if Threads can't be used in the EU by all those people, but it doesn't mean it won't succeed. It would be a potential issue, but doesn't mean it won't succeed. But just something to be aware of and to think about. So what do you think of Threads? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Have you had a play with it yet? Let me know in the comments. I'd be really interested to get a feel for what people are thinking about this platform. Do you like the fact, if you are using it, that it's tied in with the other the Meta family of apps, with Instagram specifically, but obviously with Meta and Facebook and Instagram, all that sort of stuff. For me as an advertiser on this platform, I really like that, because I think it's going to be very easy for us to advertise there. We're going to have all the knowledge already. We're going to be able to take advantage of it, hit the ground running. I like it, but some people might not. They might be a bit uncomfortable with that. They might want things separated out. So let me know what you think in the comments. I will keep you updated on Threads, along with all other Facebook and Instagram advertising related stuff. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.